Look at the difference between my face and my arm. That's a hell of a difference. Look at my face. Look at my arm. That's crispy. Look at my arm to my other arm. It's pretty crispy. I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. Didn't you just go live? Yeah, I did. But it's time to connect them dots. I had another epiphany, man. The dots got connected. I don't know why I missed this, but it just took a couple of minutes for me to connect the dots, man. And I want to take this time to, yeah. I want to take this time to put it out there for the people. Since my return back to the tuber, they've been yanking my videos. They've been yanking them. They've been flagging them. They've been yanking them. They've been taking them down. So I'm not sure how I'm going to go about that. If I'm going to switch platforms, if I'm going to go to a Rumble. But nothing is as widespread as the tube, so they kind of got me by the balls. But I will say this: if I never meant it before, I mean it now. Do not take these videos and live streams light. They're for you to study, archive, and build your own conclusions as well. Go back and watch them. Save them to your phone. Save them to your device, because they snatched them down. And there's no reason for them to snatch them down. There's no nudity. There's no violence. There's none of that. You know what I'm saying? It's real talk. But with that being said, you're going to see why I'm saying that. Because some of the videos that I'm going to show in this live stream are going to be review to a lot of videos that have already been uploaded. So we're going to continue from the earlier live stream. This will not be as long, but definitely an addition to the last live stream. So with that being said, man, let's get to rocking. You feel me? All right. So, I want to go to the whistleblower one more time, because he's going to make a statement, right? He's going to make a statement, and then I'm going to show you how the dots connected. That I've already said this 5, 6, 7 years ago. But you're going to see how it makes sense. Listen to what the whistleblower says carefully.
Back to tracking neutrinos. What is that? Why are they tracking those?
Oh, for the purposes of science, they're claiming that there's a lot to be ascertained by understanding the difference between low power and high power neutrino ejections from cosmic occurrences.
The sun, cosmic occurrences, the sun, the planet, anything that reflects light here on this planet is carrying neutrinos. Remember, a neutrino moves faster than light, or moves at the speed of light, so it is light. That's not what he's telling you. It is light. So they're capturing the energy from the sun and planets. That's what the translation of that is. Let's keep it rocking.
It's about that vague. This is what they spend our tax dollars on.
Let's talk about well, what else do they do?
The device is also...
Okay, cool. We're going to move it forward because we already covered that. Now, I'm going to go to another clip with the whistleblower He's talking, but
You have identified the circuit that you need to work
he's
hard. It's on.
okay. He's talking, right? But in the background of him talking, they're showing photos of the facility that he was in and at the South Pole where they was collecting these neutrinos. Now let's look at the photo carefully and read the caption of what it's saying, right? Watch this. This is fire. All right, I'm gonna blow it up. Bam! The Ice Cube South Pole Neutrino Observatory. The Ice Cube is the world's largest neutrino detector. Ice Cube, not NWA Ice Cube. We be clubbing. All right. Yay, yay. Ice Cube is comprised of 5,160 digital optical modules called DOMs, suspended along 86 strings or cables, embedded in a cubic. Now, cubic. Remember that word, because we're gonna go back to that. I'm trying to tell you, this is part 2. We connecting. Hold on, we connecting the motherfucking dots, man. Hold on. Psh, you already know what time it is. When you see that light go on, woo, you already know. All right. 5,160 digital optical modules called DOMs suspended along 86 cables embedded in a cubic, remember that word, kilometer of ice, remember that word, beneath the South Pole. It detects neutrinos through the tiny flashes of blue light called a Cherenkov light, produced when neutrinos interact with the ice. There are 275 physicists in 12 countries and 48 institutions collaborating on this science. How many? 275 physicists in 12 countries. Now, I bet you we going to war with some of these countries and all that. But for the sake of science of figuring out how to travel through light, we got the physicists working together. That lets you know how much of a game this is. You dig? All right, 48 institutions collaborating on this science. Okay, we're going to keep it pushing. All right?
That was the end of my need to know. They didn't want to tell me anything else. You have identified the circuit that you need.
Okay, cool. Oh, yeah, let me go back. Now, look at the dots. Not y'all, but the dots. Look at the dots in the ice. They're showing you how it's gridded out. These are the dots where those balls or the DOMs are suspended in cables underneath the ice. Listen, it says, the colored dots illustrate the pattern of the holes and season in which the holes were drilled in the ice for placement of the neutrino detectors. All right, this is imperative. Keep in mind everything I'm saying. Take note of this shit. Take note. All right, cool. We're going to keep it pushing. Watch this.
Tell me anything else. You have identified the circuit.
Okay, cool. Fuck what he talking about. Check it out. Here's a picture of the facility. This is kind of showing down here, right? How the DOMs are hanging underneath the ice at sub-zero temperatures, right? To capture the neutrinos that are just falling in the air. We don't see them. They're just there, right? Because they travel off of light, daytime, sun, right? Keep it pushing. Now let's read the caption. The Ice Cube neutrino detector records the interactions of a nearly massless subatomic, keep in mind that word, subatomic and cubic from earlier. Keep in mind, it's going to be imperative. Subatomic particle called the neutrino. The Ice Cube searches for the neutrinos from the most violent astrophysical sources like exploding stars, gamma ray bursts, and cataclysmic phenomena involving black holes and neutron stars. Artist rendition of the Ice Cube lab with the neutrinos firing off below the ice. That's what this is. Let's keep it pushing. Let's see if there's any more pictures to look at. Okay, yeah, there's one more. We're going to just, boom, go right there. Hold on. Bam. Okay. So here's the next illustration. So this is what it looks like under the ice. These down here, these balls is the neutrinos, right? That they're collecting, and these are the cables. Now let's see what it says. The Ice Cube telescope is a powerful tool to search for dark matter and could reveal the physical process associated with the enigmatic origin of the highest energy particles in nature. Within 6 years after its completion, Ice Cube, not NWA, Ice Cube has isolated more than 80 high energy cosmic neutrinos with energies between 100 TeV and 10 PeV from more than 1 million atmospheric neutrinos and hundreds of billions of cosmic ray muons. All right, that's my narrator voice. I have to get very specific and pronunciate all of my syllables. All right, cool. We'll keep it rocking. All right, so that's that. Now, the reason why all of that is imperative, because I dropped a video in like 2018, I don't know, but we'll check it out. And it was called Stargates and D-Wave Computers. I didn't even realize that what I said earlier in the live stream connected to with the video that I already dropped. Now, mind you, go back and watch these videos before they take them off, because I already dropped the science. So in that video, let me just give you a brief synopsis so we don't have to watch the whole thing. In that video, I talk about how these quantum computers freeze a cubic, remember that word from earlier? Freeze a cubic space inside of the cosmic computer to pretty much rip the fabric of space-time, remember space and time, same thing, to rip the fabric of space-time in order to calculate different parallel existences, or AKA parallel universes, or BKA different timelines. They're using quantum computers to calculate timelines that we don't have access to or know that exist, because they're freezing. Remember the ice from the neutrinos? So in the quantum computer, they're freezing it and freezing the particles in it to make it a vacuum of space. All right? With a cubic chip in the middle of this space in this quantum computer to freeze the particles to access time. Remember what I said in the first video. Time travelers are just outside of space. Everything that we can't see is outside of what our perception of time is. Now, let's look at a little segment of that D-Wave computer that I dropped about 5 or 6 years ago. Let's take a look. Here's the board. There's me. We're traveling in time. All right.
The gates are. See, the Bermuda Triangle will be somewhere over here. This is Stonehenge. They'll show you where these gates and portals lie if you really just take a real close look at the ley lines of the earth. For example,
all right. Now, look at this grid. I'm showing you the grid and points on the earth labeled here. Now, where did we just see this? We just seen this. Now, mind you, this is from 5 years ago. So this is what? 2018. We just seen this here. We just seen this here. All right? So we just seen this here. Now, I'm showing you what they're doing in the computer, but I'm about to show you where they got the technology from. Watch this. This is where they got the technology from.
About a month ago, they discovered in the pyramids of Giza, they discovered that in the pyramid, like, so this is a chamber. Then there's like, some little shit over here. Then there's like another little chamber right here or whatever. They discovered by shooting down particles, for whatever reason they was doing it.
Okay. Whatever reason they were shooting down particles, back to the neutrinos being captured in the ice. They've been on this. But here's the thing. The ancient people from Kemet, you can call it Egypt if you want, right? They already had this science. They was already doing it. Now let's peep why though.
I don't know. Ask them. For whatever reason they was doing, they were shooting down particles at the pyramids, and they found that there's a chamber in the pyramid where the particles stopped and froze, exactly like in the D-Wave computer. Just like in the D-Wave computer, the particles that became zero gravity or became a vacuum actually happened in the Pyramid of Giza. This chamber that they found, they didn't even know existed. They had no idea that it was there. So, just like this, they found it here. Now, this is just an example of how they've created an artificial way of things that have happened naturally. Now, gravitational waves exist. That may cause ripples in space-time, okay? All right, they found gravitational waves. That may be the cause of some Mandela effects. But saying that to say that if this is some artificial technology that has just been built in 2011, we're now seeing the exact same thing built, who knows when the pyramids were built, a couple of 100,000 years ago. All right? Now, based off of the material.
Hold on. Let's go back to that visual. All right. Let's go back to that.
Who knows when the.
All right. Now you see how the particles are. Look. The particles are being stuck here in this chamber for no reason. But apparently, whatever this chamber is made out of is freezing it to the point of whatever the temperature they would say space is. So they're creating so the ancients created a vacuum inside of the pyramids. Now we're starting to understand the purpose of what the pyramids was for. Now, mind you, remember who was in the pyramids. These were pharaohs. Pharaohs who had powers and abilities that were way beyond mortal men. Doesn't that kind of sound like gods? Doesn't that kind of sound like someone from a different place, extra than the terrestrial place, right? Doesn't that sound like someone who has a little bit more knowledge and technology than the people around them? How'd they get there? They travel through the light. Mind you, most pyramids, even in South America or wherever you find a pyramid, there's always some way that the light is shining in to the pyramid or structure. Now we're starting to understand why or how real travel, time, space, space-time, travel, space travel, time travel, same shit. Space travel, time travel, same thing. Okay? So now we're starting to get it. Connect the dots, right? That's what we're doing. Now let's keep it popping.
A couple of 100,000 years ago. All right? Now, based off of the material of what the pyramid is made out of, the shape of the pyramid, different things that we know about the pyramid, it being aligned with certain stars, and things of that nature. Now it all kind of makes sense when there's sunlight and moonlight shining into different parts of the chamber, and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? It all kind of makes sense that they've had a gateway or a stargate, and that's exactly what the pyramids are turning out to be. All right. Now, why is this important?
Family.
Because that just like the pyramid and how it travels or stays stationary or stays still as the earth travels through time and space. I have a video on this called Time Travel, Portals, and Meditation.
You like how we're doing a video now, going back to a video I did 5 years ago, that went back to a video I did 6 years before that. Now you see how the dots get connected. Now you see that I'm not playing with this connected dot shit. I've been doing it for years, for many, many moons. Now you see? Let's keep it rocking.
Check that out. Just how this stands still, it creates a vacuum in the 0 realm of the gods. Anything that stays still creates a vacuum. I spoke on this 2 or 3 years ago. Now it's going to make sense. So when Johnny, right? When Johnny, that's Johnny's ears, right? Johnny looked crazy. When Johnny, yeah. So when Johnny sits and meditates, right? He has this carbon microchip in the center of his head called a pineal gland. But it's organic, not artificial, right? Called a pineal gland. When he sits still, he calms the particles in his mind. Your thoughts are particles. Your thoughts have weight. They actually have physical weight. So every time you think something, there's a weight in your dome. Very minute, very quantum, but still exists. How do we know this? When you think about moving your finger, there's electricity that goes from your brain to your finger and moves it really quick. That has weight, all right? So when Johnny stays still, the particles in his hippocampus area around his pineal gland and pituitary slows down because he's creating a gateway of 0 through his.
We're gonna stop it right there. We're gonna stop that right there because that's a little too heavy. That's a little too heavy. All right. If you want to watch that video in its entirety, it's 24 minutes, but it's a good investment. Find that if you can on my channel. They make the videos very hard to find. You might have to scroll a little bit, but it's called D-Wave Computer and Stargates. All right, D-Wave Computer and Stargates. But if you don't want to find it, or if you don't believe me and don't want to listen to what I'm saying, just research it yourself. Easy, okay? Whatever. All right. But one thing that I did want to point at is the pyramid game. Now, the reason why this is imperative to take a look at, I didn't say why this is important, but the reason why this is imperative to take a look at is because most pyramids are rumored, I gotta say rumored because I ain't been there, but most pyramids are rumored to have underground tunnels. Now, mind you, why do they have all this going on if no one actually lives in the pyramid? It's not a place where they was sitting chilling. They wasn't chilling inside the pyramids, you dig? That's not what they was doing. But they was bringing in light, moonlight, sunlight, neutrinos, all that stuff into the pyramid. It was probably exactly what the whistleblower said. A telescope to change weather, to manipulate the ions, like a weapon, a projector, a projectile, and also it was something that brought energy in. So it projected and it brought stuff in at the same time. Spirits, souls, energy, terrestrials from wherever. Same, right? This is why you find things like what the fuck? You'll find things like want to find the actual wall, but you'll find things like this sun, or things like that. I'm gonna find the actual glyph. Find it. Oh, there we go. Here we go. Let's get it. Here we go. Can we blow this up? They're gonna let us blow this up. When you find things like this, right? The symbolism is you see the sun, you see the rays, right? You see the rays. I hate that it's doing that. And you see them reaching down to a very giant deity with a huge head, reminds you of Yakub, right? Like from the first video, right? You see the smaller people, so this is a different kind of person, right? You see the sun, this is the depiction of symbolism. Sun, rays, he's holding, or him, she, it, them, they, whatever pronoun, right? Is in taking something from the sun, right? Isn't this very reminiscent of this or the cables here? Same thing. Cables, neutrinos, right? Cables, neutrinos, right? Cables, neutrinos. Pretty much. That's really what it is, right? Okay. But like I said, hold on, what's going on, man? Okay. Watch this. So, temples with underground paths, I guess. I don't know. Right? Can we get an illustration? But look what pops up. We got South America. We got Lalibao here in Ethiopia. I don't know where this is, but almost all the temples across the world, even ones in India, all have underground caverns and tunnels that connect to other temples. I mean, you don't have to believe me, do your research. I mean, I can go into that right now, but I'm not going to do that. But it's true, right? I'm trying to find an illustration of at least one. Let me put pyramids and see if that changes. If that changes, okay. Well, we'll just use this one. Okay, we'll just use this one. All right, so this is Khufu's pyramid, and I'm looking for the illustration. Now they want to play games. I just seen it on the other page. Now they want to play, not show me. Okay, whatever. I mean, you can look at it right here to your right. I don't know if I can blow it up from here. Oh, I can. It's going to be kind of weird, though. Looking at Khufu's chamber, you see air shaft, King's chamber, grand gallery, ascending passageway, descending passageway, subterranean chamber. Who knows how far this actually really goes? And if it went further than that, they ain't gonna tell us anyways. This is why, most governments around the world control all monuments and national parks. Grand Canyon, any mountain region or mountainous area, all the temples are all controlled, and they limit your access to them because those places are how you get to underground. Why is this important? Where am I going with this? How did we get from neutrinos to going underground? Is because the people who dwelled in these mountains or pyramids, which 9 times out of 10, a lot of mountains aren't really pyramids. They're just covered up. Sorry to bust your bubble, but it's because that's where the gods have escaped to being. They're underground. This is why there's so much flat earth propaganda, so you don't think about inner earth. You don't think about it. See what I'm saying? Okay? So, And you can't have a flat Earth and a sun projecting neutrinos and light and traveling. They don't want you thinking about that. So flat Earth it is, right? Okay, so and I just dropped a video today showcasing the master teacher, Delbert Blair, talking about all of this. So all of this is coming full circle. That's why I had to drop part 2 right back to back. So let's take a listen. And if you want to listen to this video in its entirety, it is an upload that just got uploaded today. All right, so let's get it.
The last time that extraterrestrials ruled with terrestrials to control interterrestrials. And I'm simply saying this, that Tutankhamun, again, when he went into Taxila, found that there were underground cities, that there was a race of high-placed persons who had stayed around when simply saying this, that extraterrestrials ruled with terrestrials to control interterrestrials. And I'm simply saying this, that Tutankhamun, again, when he went into Taxila, found that there were underground cities, that there was a race of high...
Even on this map, I know it's a little blurry, but it tells you where all the entry points around the world, because it ain't flat, is how you get to the inner part of the world. Again, like I said in the first video, when I said that light travels from star to star or from star to core. You know, they say that there's a Earth has an inner core. They're kind of fooling you. It's kind of like a sun that's in that motherfucker. So it's going from sun to sun. So even on this depiction, and no, this is not an official depiction of something. So I'm not going to mislead you and say, look at this picture, it's official. Nah, I'm not going to say that because that's not right. But let's take a look at it, right, as a reference, right? So central sun. Central sun. See, the flat earthers they're not wrong. They're just thinking they're right, but they're not looking at it from a 3D perspective. So where they talk about rings and ice wall, they're actually just talking about layers of the earth. There's just layers. There's layers of outside, inside, and terrestrialism and inner earth. You know what I'm saying? So what they're thinking is flat is just levels. Now, I don't know the shape. Who knows? It could be like this. Who the fuck cares? But it's just levels. All right, so let's get
it. Persons who had stayed around when many generations and kingdoms had fallen, that welcomed the ability to work with people here as an extraterrestrial, not an alien. And this is why we have to be very careful. When you're saying the word alien, you mean anything that's intelligent in the cosmos. And the cosmos has literally trillions of planets. When you're saying terrestrial, you're talking about the old name for Earth, terrestris and terrestra. You're now saying that an extraterrestrial is a higher dimension functioning person on Earth or in Earth. And this is where the last time when the in-Earth people and the extraterrestrials ruled with terrestrials to raise consciousness. This is what the priestcraft didn't like. This is what these draconic people wanted to destroy.
I just seen something. I've seen this picture thousands of times. I've seen this picture thousands of times. I just noticed something. Watch this. This is playing games. Y'all niggas is playing. Y'all see, y'all be playing, man. What y'all be on YouTube doing? Playing. Y'all not paying attention. Watch this. I just seen something for the first time. And I've seen this picture for years.
Terrestrials to raise consciousness. This is what the priestcraft did.
Bam! Look. This is showing the layers with waters in it. Look, here go Pyramid of Giza, right? How to get to the inner earth, right? Now watch this. Look at this top part. Look at this thing that's flying out of it. Looks like a tic-tac, don't it? Ain't that the tic-tac? This illustration is hella old. I'm not saying it's ancient, but it was drawn in the last 20 to 30 years. Have to, because it says Admiral Byrd's flight from 1947. So it's depicting Admiral Byrd at least and his flight to quote unquote inner Earth. But the flat earthers changed it and said he went past the ice wall. Okay, all right. Let me not do that because I'm being facetious. You know what I'm saying? I'm being cynical. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have did that. But I'm saying that it all makes sense because we're all saying the same thing. We're just debating, and that's asinine. You know what I'm saying? We're debating about something that we all ain't seen with our own eyes. So it's weird. So, but look, there's the Tic Tac flying out of inner Earth, just like how it will come out of the water over here. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. So Dr. Delbert Blair is breaking down major science on the inner Earth and its connection to extraterrestrials, just like how I just mentioned in the last live when they asked me about the Elohim. So it's just funny that everything comes full circle and just kind of just comes together to paint this very, very, very cohesive picture. So I just thought that was really dope.
Mentioned functioning person on Earth or in Earth. And this is where the last time when the in-Earth people and the extraterrestrials ruled the terrestrials to raise consciousness. This is what the priestcraft didn't like. This is what these draconic people wanted to destroy, and why they misused that whole concept. They used a pyramid structure, which is one of the best things you can use to get into higher dimensions. And again, the pyramid is a false name again too, because it was named by the Greek from Pyramus and Pyre, to look upward. In fact, when the Greeks saw these structures, both the all these cylindrical ones, the small pyramids, it'll come to me in a minute again. But when they saw these things, it reminded them of something that they would roast things on. And so they mounted as a great big spear, if they would. And so they called it Pyrumu, so that goes straight up. Before that time, those things were called mirrors. And we get the word Mr. and Mrs. from the plural and singular of those mirrors. And this is what the pyramids were actually called. They were called mirrors. To give some credence to that, when you look at the very city, which one of the biggest pyramids on Earth, not the biggest one, by the way, it's not the biggest, but one of the biggest pyramids is found, it is called Egypt. And it is called the city there called Cairo, which it is near. Well, Cairo.
All right. That's cool. So, yeah, that's going to pretty much do it for why I dropped the second video back to back. And also to tell you that the Shangri-La video has to come now, because it's just this material is just leading right into it. I was already going to do it, you know, so now I guess it just wasn't time for me to do it before, because I was going to do it right before I left about 5 months ago. And yeah, and just to prove it, because I know y'all be thinking I'll be over here catting off, just to prove it, I'm going to show you. Let me see. Hold on. No. Just to show you, if you look at my playlist, let me see where it's at. Tachyon, relationships, holographic ascension, dinosaur, Akashic Shambhala. So see, this is my personal notes. This says Akashic Shambhala, and the reason why I got that as a playlist is because I'm finna do the Shambhala / Akashic record video. So I guess it has to come now, because the Akashic records, or the place that you call the Akash, is not only a cerebral mental place, there's also a physical representation for it as well, and it is found in Shambhala. So that will be the next video for sure. So again, I thank y'all for joining me for this extracurricular activity that I had to get in. I had to get it in, man. I had to. Like, I just had to get it in. Like, I had to. It just had to happen. So I really appreciate y'all again for rocking with me, and there will be more to come real soon. And all right, peace.